Welcome again. So have you signed up here at the classroom on the platform itself? You have. Okay, great. So something basic things that I already said. The first group is that so today we are going to use the basic functionalities of the platform, and next time we are going to single event analysis, and the last time would be in the group analysis, as told you in the lecture. I think it was last week, and I will go through the same steps. So first of all, here is this address. I don't know, can you see it? I think this must be a new power, or this video gun, because it actually is quite detailed. Back in the days, it wasn't very good. So here is this address. Just go in that, and first, I don't know, have you all signed up yet? But let's go quickly through that. So sign up button is here on the right upper corner, and when you click it, you will get on this kind of site. And here you just need to give your name and last name and some valid email. You can use your student email or some others if you want to make a totally new one, but you can control, then you can just use that one. Please place the, I don't know, did you, but you can do it later from your own administration information, that the institution would be University of Oulu and the department Oulu Mining School. They then would know that it actually we are doing some teaching here. But other than that, you just need the password and prove that you're not a robot and signing up. So you can do it if you haven't done it. Oh yeah, you have to accept the privacy policy, but I did go just through and it didn't actually have anything. They just gather information of the activities, what you are doing here, so they can focus on certain areas of the platform itself. It didn't have any kind of commercial things or anything like that. So after you have filled all these fields over here and proven that you're not a robot, accepted and signing up, I actually don't remember, did it ask anything, verify your account from the year? It just started to work. Okay, good. So in that case, when you're signing up, then it's getting back in this start screen, which is this one. And when you sign up, it automatically did log in yourself. But if not, then just next to this sign up button is this login button. By clicking it, it will go on this one, and you have to use your username, which is of course your email. I will sign up myself. And now I'm signing up. I've been logging in. So as you can see that all the elements are there, except that you have your name and then this language selection, which has the French and Polish beside of English. I'm using English because I don't speak French or Polish, and I cannot guarantee that they actually have all the translations in Polish or French. So let's stick in the English now. And then we have this profile and affiliations button over here. And we can look that we don't have to do any modification for this, but just to show. So here's your profile, and it looks like that I don't even have now the department myself here, but the Oulu Mining School is missing here. Your email, some names and where you're from. You can change your password or even delete your account over here. And if you would be doing some research or use this in some research, maybe for the publicity or open access publication, and you want to use more advanced tools or certain data you want to apply for researcher status, which is then kind of verified and affirmed in your institute and at the EPOS platform holders at Poland. And then some European projects have been going on, and they are using this platform as a base tool. Then you could add the project membership here as well, but we don't need that now because we are just doing the education. So we can go back into start, and I will show you some basic functionalities. So here is some general information, what we already gone through last time in the lecture. And also just a quick reminder about the support button, which contains the user guide, which have practically every user guide for every applications, those analytical tools that you're going to use later. Forum, just to, if there's some problem here that doesn't have the answer from the user guide or any other place, then it can be asked. Relays notes and some feedback button over here. And feedback, you can, because this is still development, this platform, and there's some bugs. We actually saw a couple of bugs already during last hour. So it's important to have feedback. So the IT people who are within this, at the Polish side, I think it's Symphronet, they can repair it if they can, and usually they can. And some contact information. Documents, documents have every document, not only those user feedbacks, but all documents related to this data and applications here. We actually, go into front page like this. We actually, last hour, when we opened documents, we didn't get it open, and it looks like that it's not working still. So maybe they are having some maintenance or something like that, but it's not working. So it's practically a search tool, what you can use there for the document search. There's a data search as well. We will look at that later. So back into this first screen. So the actual platform is behind this episodes platform button, and we click it, and then the view is like this. And when you have registered yourself, you can see that below this first taskbar over here is another taskbar having this anthropogenic hazard episodes, this search tool, and the application button. And over here at the right is this workspace, which you probably didn't have if you're not registered or logged in yet. But let's start with this episodes. So the episodes are those wholeness of the having some data, documentation, and general information about the relationship between seismicity and some industrial activity, such as mining or water reservoir or wastewater injections and so on. And there's this project association because most of these data sets or episodes have been done within some project. And this project here, we don't have to go in those, but all of these are part of some of these. And you can actually filter these based on those projects, but we don't need to do it. I think the more important for is this impacting factor over here. And when you click it, you can see the different themes or industrial activities what we have here. So let's click the underground mining, for instance. So you can see that it only lists those what are underground mines over here. They are all fitting in the one page. And here is Pyhäsalmi mine. We will go that shortly. But now, if we go back in this filter tool, so let's go this underground mining. We take it off. It actually just didn't get this list back. So this is a bug what we found out last hour. To null this, you just have to click this AH episode again, and it gets back in the front page of the episodes. This is the list view, and there's also this map view. If you click it, it shows the geographical location of the episodes. And most of them are in Europe, a couple in the North America, and some in the Far East and Australia. And if you want to click one of these, let's say this one in the Finland, which is this Pyhäsalmi mine, it actually gets you straight away in this Pyhäsalmi mine episode screen. We will go there. I will go just using the list over here. So back in the list, and I could filter that, but I know that the Pyhäsalmi mine is in the second page. So I just go in the second page, which can be found here or at the very bottom. And just clicking the title of the episode, Pyhäsalmi mine, In situ underground laboratory. So you will get this screen when you click that. So here's the description. You can read this later, what it's all about, and I encourage you to look the other episodes as well of different industry, that how they are using the seismicity versus the industrial activity. What is the study subject on those? Because it's quite different on these ones. The main thing and the common thing is that there is seismicity coming from that has been proved to be induced by the industrial activity. For instance, in Pyhäsalmi mine, it's mine-induced seismicity. Status details screen here gives some images about the major topics of the episode. In Pyhäsalmi case, it means these little red dots here, which means the seismic events. This is about the mineralogy from Pyhäsalmi mine. They are mining the zinc and copper, and then some map. This page or these images will vary depending on the episode. The third window over here, this data window, it has all these three different data types. First of all, the seismic data. Then we have industrial data, which are the data that are describing how the industrial activities are advancing there in some degree. For instance, in Pyhäsalmi mine, we have blast information and mining polygon advance, which means that when the ore quarries have been activated during this episode time, which is approximately half a year. And the last one is geodata, which has bedrock maps and lithology maps and philosophy model and some geophysical maps. But it depends on the episode, so you can explore. Then there's a couple more buttons like available visualizations that you can go and click that at some point and look at what you can find from there. So it just shows the data on map. But let's look a couple of these couple of these data. So the seismic data is kind of the heart and soul of these episodes, and as talked about last lecture, that seismicity is one of the major impacts and what you can see when you are breaking rock or implementing different stresses on in the bedrock or soil. And how to seismicity? First of all, seismicity is usually you will need always some seismic network. It's a network of seismic stations having geophones or three-axial seismometers to observe the ground movement. And then when you are doing that, then you are going to have seen some data, and the data is analyzed in this catalog. And let's look at the seismic catalog first. So by clicking here, the catalog button, you will access in this kind of screen. And this lists all the catalog or seismic catalog associated with Pyhäsalmi mine. Later on, when we are going into data search, we can just look all the catalogs from each episode. So let's look. So Pyhäsalmi have actually 4 catalogs, and why there's 4, you can read it from the description. But the bottom line is that we are trying to have the correlation, to study the correlation between the industrial activity, which is, for example, quarry blasts, and also the seismic events themselves. Do they have like timing correlation or so on? And then we also have this macro event catalog, which has the detection of those microseismic events by the national seismic network. So it's kind of looked at how can we see correlation between these 2 station networks. So anyway, let's review these seismic events, which have all over 7,000 seismic events or micro scale earthquakes. And we can click this view file over here. And this catalog page is always looking this. It doesn't matter either you open it from here or if you open it at the workbench later. It's always look like this. And then there's a couple of action buttons over here. This blue one is something what is related to the file itself, that you can actually add this on the workbench already from here, or even download it at your computer. And then there's another action list, which is this gray one over here. And this is now part of this catalog itself. Before clicking that, let's go see what else we can see here. First of all, we have this summary. It tells how many events we have in the catalog and the time range, October 1st to 2010 to end of March 2011. And then depth range of those events, what are the depths, what they have been analyzed to be with, and then some magnitude range. And then this list below, it has listed all the parameters that every single event does have in the catalog. And this can be, the content of the catalogs can vary quite a much between different episodes. And this latitude, longitude, or YXZ, they always have this spatial information and the occurrence time and ID. But besides them, they have also some magnitude scale. In Pyhäsalmi case, we have this local magnitude scale, ML, and in some of the episodes, we do have this moment magnitude. I think it was MW or something like that, but it can be seen there. So spatial information, magnitude, and time and IDs always can be found from this. And the other information is something what have been derived from the seismic data itself. Part of this is something what you're going to do on the following practicals. Let's go back up, and now this action list over here. When you click it, you have several different kind of information here. Let's click the preview, which gives you this kind of window over here. And now every single event are in their own rows, and all the parameters are on the columns. So it's like the Excel sheet. And I think that this has been the script somewhere. I think they might be even viewable from here. No, it was of course on the list behind here. So this doesn't say it. So it is in the same order though. So it's quite big, this window. So I went from the right corner. So here is this local magnitude over here. And since this is like Excel, if you click it, you can kind of rearrange that in the largest to smallest value or smallest to largest. Now this is in the smallest to largest magnitude of the events. By clicking it again, it put it in a different order now. In this largest event is first and so on. And all the other fields are just following the order of that one. So I will close that one. Also here at the below, you can see the map. And the map just shows where these are and these events are. And most of them are right there where the actual mine is. There are a couple that have been localized off, and but they are not that off that they couldn't be true. So that's why they are here. And then there's some plotting information here, but you can look that by yourself later on. Just visualizing and doing some plotting. I'll go back up. And yeah, so that's a catalog. So it has the information about seismic events or those earthquakes and some parameters from those. Now let's go back to this Pyhäsalmi mine episode. You can go back or use it back a couple of times or just go into episodes. And I will go through the episodes and select again Pyhäsalmi mine, getting in the front page. And another very important type of data is the seismic data itself, what is called seismic waveforms. And in case of Pyhäsalmi mine, there is actually two kind of types. There's this mini seed format and the seed format. The difference between the two is that the seed format is kind of full format. It also has information about the seismic network itself. So the information about the stations and where they are and so on. And the mini seed format, it actually has only the data, the time series of the seismic observations. I did note that many of the applications actually are using this mini seed format. And even if you have a seed format, it cannot have that. So it needs to be converted into mini seed in some cases. You are going to have this small minor task for practice, for the practice itself. So let's click this mini seed format, event related waveforms here. And then similar kind of list that we just saw using the catalogs is presented here. And I think this is in the alphabetical order or something. Yeah, it is alphabetical order. And then we can just open one. Let's open, for instance, this number 4. And here's a lot of different kind of buttons. View files, that what we are going to click shortly. a few episodes gets us back to the episode. At the workspace, you can edit this straight away in the workspace, and some more. You can even download the data to your computer and show the file information, which usually is looking something like that. So it's just some general metadata about the file. But let's now click the view file. So this is a waveform view file screen. And first of all, you have name here, the file what you just clicked. And then you have these different kind of waveforms or the seismic data from different stations. And here is this show channels. As you remember that seismic stations or seismometers, they can have usually 1 or 3 components, which means that the component is usually the vertical one. Most of the Pyhäsalmi mine seismic stations are 1 component, so they are just measuring the vertical movement of the ground. But then there's a couple of 3 components which also measure the horizontal components of the ground movement, and they're always perpendicular to each other. So one is towards the north, one is towards east, and one is towards the jet wells. This is vertical, but I think the positive is usually downwards, and the positive on this north component is at north, and the positive on east components is towards east. So you can take away those, for instance, those horizontal components. So you can see that there's actually this many of stations have actually seen this particular event. So there's 8 stations. Some of them are just 3 components. So let's select one. Let's select, for instance, 6. And once you click it, you can have this open view, which can be closed by pressing this one back. So it's in the first screen now again. And this is the whole trace over here, and this is the zoom page. And for the zoom page, you can actually zoom it using these buttons, or just clicking and dragging and painting the area, like this. So you can see that in this mini view, it shows that what portion you are now viewing in this zoom screen. And you can see that the beginning here, you have this small vibration, which is like back noise. And then this particular event has occurred, and the waves have propagated from the seismic event, the source of the seismic event, to at some time to the seismic station. And this is what's all about the seismic observation. You observe time, which is this x axis over here, and this vertical axis is actually the amplitude or the location how the seismometer is observing the ground movement. And this says it's amplitude, but it actually, yeah, it's amplitude in this one. And it just shows that the B wave, which is the first wave to arrive, and it's the fastest one, it actually comes over here at that time. So seismic observation is just observing time and the ground movement. And you can always zoom and select using this one. This button over here, which has this kind of semi-recycled image over here, if you click it, it just puts it in the original zoom. And the last button, the FFT, it's a fast Fourier transformation. So it shows the signal spectrum. If you click it, it kind of shows that how much of spectral images all those movements has been. What is the frequency on different, how many of the movements and the signal you have in different frequencies. And here you can see that the largest powers are here in the very high frequencies. And actually this spike over here is at 50 hertz, which is originating from the power supply, because in Finland we have this 50 hertz power supplied in our before we are changing it into DC. So it has this kind of information, and these are the data that you're going to use in the applications in different forms. You will have picking the arrival seismic event waveforms like this B wave or maybe S wave, and also you are going to have some spectral analysis when you are just trying to analyze portion of the data, derive some parameters of the seismic event. Great, so let's get back in the very beginning in this episode platform button over here, and let's go to see the workspace. And if you are not done any folders yet, you usually have this first one, this root menu over here. And when you put your mouse on top of that, you have these 3 dots over here, which if you clicked it, it is just exactly the same than this action button over here. So make directory, show file information uploading. So you can upload your own data or files, whatever, on the platform. And same thing is over here. If you click those, it has this make directory, and let's make a directory now. I just give second class, but you can name it as you please. And once you give it the file name, or in this case it's a directory name, you just click OK. And since you probably don't have so much stuff in your workspace, it's going to be just below this root. For me, it's always go at the bottom. And if you note that there is this, you can click it, but you see the symbol of the folder here. And when you put the mouse on top of that, you can start dragging this different place. You don't have to drag it because you probably have it over here in the very top of the tree, workspace tree. So now you have your first directory over here. And you can always make another directory if you like. So I think that we need to get some data to our newly formed directory. So let's go to this Pyhäsalmi mine episode again. You can go through this HA episodes and the list. You can filter out the underground mining, or just go into the second page to look it. I did filter it, and then just go into Pyhäsalmi mine. Click it, and let's take the catalog. So this is now again the main screen of the Pyhäsalmi mine. And now let's click this catalog over here. So it shows these 4 different catalogs as earlier. Actually, this took some time sometimes to update, so it didn't show the right file names in the beginning, but now it shows. So for the individual file, you can just go and click the add to workspace. But if you want to put some more, several files there, you can just click this tick box over here and click both of those, the blast catalog and this 7059 seismic events.mat. So these 2 catalogs. And then this button over here, this add selected to workspace is activated. And if you click that, you have two options: add workspace as link and add to workspace. The link is just making a link to the workspace. So it's just when you click it in the workspace, it just takes you back here. But we want to physically move those to the workspace, so we take this add to workspace. And then you have to select your folder where you want to do it, where you want to put it. So the first one here, you can put it on the root, but we want to put it now in this folder, what we just made, and click OK. And now it just says that all files successfully added to workspace. And we can go immediately to workspace by clicking this one. And you should be now seeing both of the catalogs in your directory. Next thing, now that we have some data there, so let's look some applications how to work with those. There's actually two ways to go. One is the quick way, and you're probably going to use it later on, but then you kind of click this. If you click the catalog, you can see that it shows the same view that what you see before. But now in this time, because this is in the catalog, the actions buttons, or these three dots over here, gives you some other options than before. So here you can actually go immediately to use this catalog in certain application. But let's not do that yet, because I want to show you this applications tree, page itself. So you can just click this application here. So it shows all the analytical or filtering or converting tools what are available here in the platform. And there are quite many of those. So it's maybe a good idea to search something or to look certain categories. And there's quite many categories themselves, but now we are just needing the filtering tools. So tag the filtering tool. So this actually have only one filter tool for and that is catalog filter. And this shows, like the list before, it shows the name of the application, short description, and some other short metadata for that. And by clicking this one, it doesn't matter where, it opens this application screen. And the application screen have the same description, but also author and other information. There's this input files. It says that what it does, what data this application does need for functioning. So in this case, it's just a catalog. And as a result is a filtered data catalog. There's other things as well on this other window on the right. They have references like user guide, category, keywords, and citation if you're using this to handle your data. If you would make a publication. So you can now move this to the workspace by clicking at the workspace. And then just click the directory what you made and OK. And in the applications, it's automatically transfers you in that application. So what happened is that you selected this directory, which is second class for me. You can still see these two catalogs over here and this catalog filter. And the catalog filter is this application with A. And this means that each application, and because it's a gray one, it means that it's a new application. You haven't yet used that. When you use it, it's turning it green, in the green color, which means that you have at least once applied that. It's just a safe precaution that you don't overwrite it or something like that. So when this has been selected, you can see this this application view in your workspace. It has this input screen and then the other parameters that you have input. And now we want to have this select the file, and we want to select the files, and we can only select those files that are in our workspaces. So when you click it, there's several different kind of options here, but let's use now the individual files because we know what we are looking for. So we go in this our directory and let's select this seismic events catalog from Pyhäsalmi mine. And when it's once selected, just OK, and it comes here. There's a different kind of, so this tool is for filtering. So we will filter that list of all those events on our catalog by some of those parameters what we have in the catalog. So in Pyhäsalmi mine we have time, latitude, spatial information, some epicenter, scalar moment, and so on. But let's filter this according to the magnitude. So the magnitude was this ML for the local magnitude. And now that you can see that each one of those have this select all values, it means that if we would now press the run, the result would be the same catalog what we just having, because we would just have everything on it. But when we click this, there's some options here: select range, non-empty values, or list of values if we want to input them ourselves. But I tend to use this select range, and it gives these two fields over here, which is the minimum value of the magnitudes on this catalog and the maximum one. So if I want to only see those events that are above of magnitude of 1, I just put this minimum to 1, maximum can be, and I don't want to use any other filtering here like spatial filtering or anything like else. So I just can press the run. There's some other options as well, that you can select the events from the map, but in Pyhäsalmi case they are all backed up, so it's very difficult to pick certain one. And then here is this preview selection on map. If you click it, it just shows which have been selected. But to actually perform the filtering, you have to press the run. And because this is not very large application, it doesn't take too much time. So as an output below, it gives the new catalog file, and it says that it has 7 events, only 7 events on that are with magnitude 1 or above. But all the parameters are the same; they are all there. And when we scroll back up the page, you can see that now the catalog filter application has gone on green, and there's this new catalog.map. And now if you click it, you can see that it actually is there. Okay, I think I did show one thing for the latter group, so maybe I will show you that as well. So this is just the filter catalog over here. So now that we have this catalog filter done, and if we click that one, so we could filter this again, but this is the default name for the catalog for this catalog filter tool for the output file. So if we wouldn't change that, we could go click here and put the rename. Then if we would make another filtering using the same input file, so this is this file over here, then this would be overwritten here if we don't change the name, because this is the base of the name. And it's a good idea to rename it, especially if you're doing some spatial filtering, that all the events above certain elevation, under, and like this. So you want to preserve them both. So you can rename it and then run this application again. But now we can change this new catalog, and this new catalog works just like the first one, it's just smaller. So if you click now these 3 dots, or select the catalog first and go to the actions, the 3 dots is called, of course, the actions itself. So if you click this used in application, it gives you the list of all of the applications that are taking this catalog as an input file. And go and click this signal download tool. So again, you can see that here is the catalog, what we just clicked, and below is this signal download tool, and it's selected here. And since we use this way to select the applications, you can see that the catalog is actually over here already as an input file. And this signal download tool is a tool that you can use to download those episode seismic data associated to that particular event, that you don't have to go and look it from that big list. You can just go select events from the catalog. And since we only have these 7 events after the filtering, you can just select 1 or 2 or 3. I just select now 1. For example, that one. It has this little bit like a bolding on the name. And then click OK. So it gives the event ID over here just next to this selection. And then it asks signal types. Well, we have the signal, sheet signal and mini-sig signal in this Pyhäsalmi mine. There could be also accelerogram seed signals, but I want to now have only the mini-seed signal. And once taking that, just press the run. So this application is kind of those supporting applications which just retrieves the data for you. And output has 2 files. The actual mini-seed signal, you can see it here and here. And then it has this .json file as well, which is kind of basic information about just that event. So by clicking it, you can see that it only has the spatial information and the depth, time, and the magnitude, nothing else. But this is something that some of the applications demand, so that's why it's coming. And if you click the mini-seed file, you can see that it's over here. So you can see that it's a similar kind of view that you saw before when we just went to see the data from the Pyhäsalmi mine. Yeah, so I have some small tasks what you can do for the practicing, and for that you will need this search tool, which is just between the each episode and application button. So I click that. So this is data search, and you can have some filters here. And what we want to look, for instance, is this drill hole lithography over here. Clicking it or tagging it, and then you can see that it actually deactivated. And just searching it, it searched all those drill hole lithologies from all of those episodes. And there seem to be 5 of those. And of course, you can do some multi-searching, like if you put the, okay, this has already been filtered. There's only 5 of the episodes, but if you select the Pyhäsalmi mine there and the freehold lithology and again search, then you will have only that one. Wait for it. That is the wrong name, but it took some time to change it. But anyway, so we have another freehold lithology from Pyhäsalmi mine. In this subtask, you will get to use this data search tool. Okay, and I don't know. I think we are more or less done. So as you can see that this workspace, it always stays here, and this action button here, you can actually use it to rename or delete the folders themselves. So you can just delete everything if you want. But of course, it's a good idea to keep this as a reminder here or something like that. So the tasks, I will put this in the Moodle because the former group didn't have not too much time to look it. But the main point in this subtask is that you will get familiar with the searching the data, what we just did, managing the data in the workspace, using an application, and to see the general hierarchy in the workspace, how you can change the applications and data. It can be a little bit awkward sometimes, but it actually gives you quite nice picture what you have done, since you can see all those parameters that you've used in the application, for instance. The tasks themselves are quite easy, that you just make a new directory and then use the data tool to search certain types of data, and making a subfolder in that data what you just this directory did, and taking those data to that folder and then do some